This is Trevor Benko with TGB Supplements in the Iron Force Gym, and lucky enough to have Jason Arntz with I-Prevail.
Thank you.
We got a good workout in today. He came down and stayed the night last night. It was nice enough to stay here for the day and do some demoing of his products. We had a good workout. We did shoulders and abs.
Yeah, some shoulders and abs, and these guys beat me up for the day, and I'm going to feel it on the way home later on.
Yeah, we got to use some of his products too. Today was the first day I tried his rehab, and I've been using the T2, which is my favorite fat burner right now. It seems to work really well. It doesn't make you feel sick or jittery. But the rehab is the first time for intra workout, and I always do an intra workout, but this is the first time I tried Jason's, and it was the blood orange flavor, and I mean, it was delicious. I did start to get a little low blood sugar throughout the workout, just because I don't usually eat in the morning. I just do a quick shake, and once we got halfway through, I could feel it kind of dropping down.
Yeah.
And I don't normally do a lot of carbs intra-workout,
Right.
and that's what you were telling me
Yeah.
about the importance of that.
Yeah, so I've been a big believer in intra-workouts my whole career, and I'm surprised they haven't really caught on yet. I don't know if it's like the hidden secret,
Yeah.
with trainers or whatnot, but it's something I've always incorporated in. And back in my training era, they didn't have the stuff at our disposal that we have now. They didn't have Carb 10. They didn't have
Vitario.
they didn't have branch chains with essentials. I used to have to buy 7 or 8 different things and put these components together to make my own intra-workout. And there was no carb sources back then. I was using Gatorade, and that turned into maltodextrin, then waxy maize, and then your Carbolin, and then Vitargo, and then even cluster dextrin, which I do like cluster dextrin, but you do get a hydrochloric acid release, which could cause a little bloating.
Is that what causes the discomfort sometimes?
It causes discomfort. It's got a low enough molecular body weight, so it does dump fast through your gut, through your intestines, but you still do get a hydrochloric acid release, and you want to try to avoid that when you're training because it destroys any other nutrients that are going through your blood system, going through your stomach at that time. So the Carb 10, it's got even lower molecular body weight. That's what I use in the rehab. You don't get an insulin spike because it releases so fast, but it replenishes glycogen. Mm-hmm. And therefore, whenever you're weight training, you're doing anaerobic activity.
Yeah.
Now you could start utilizing the branch chains, the essentials. I have extra glutamine, extra leucine, extra ornithine in there, to really help recover and rebuild during your workout, as opposed to not having carbs, where now you're basically just burning the amino acids that you're consuming, for energy. Yeah,
pretty much.
You're wasting them. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're standing still.
Wow.
So by incorporating the Carb 10, you spare the protein breakdown, and you can utilize the protein for what it's meant to be doing.
Yeah.
And that's recovery.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that hydrochloric acid release, but that pretty much defeats the purpose of having an amino, probably.
Yeah, it does, and that was
it hurts it at least.
It hurts it, and that was one of the things I was trying to put together when I put this formula together. I wanted to try to make it as perfect as possible, and this was the path with the least resistance, and where you could assimilate and absorb as much of the nutrients that you're consuming.
And like you said, it's not an excessive amount of carbs. How many carbs?
No, I mean, look, if you're 180 pounds, I recommend 1 scoop, which is 12 grams of Carb 10. It's not going to kill you. I know people are freaking out over carbs.
Even if you're dieting, I mean, it's really.
I have guys that I prep for shows that are dieting on it until 5-10 days before the show.
Yeah.
I'll do a scoop and a half. I think I had you do a scoop and a half. So you're only talking about 18 to 20 grams of carbohydrates.
Yeah,
but it's such a fast absorbing carbohydrate. It just gets right into the muscle cells, gets stored as glycogen, and you get to utilize that for energy, like I said, and still get to utilize the aminos for what they're meant for.
And like you were saying, that one of them products, like intra workouts, aren't big sellers for us in general.
Yeah.
At the supplement shop, I mean, it's not something people come in typically and ask for, even though it's probably one of the most important.
It's the most important time to really take in these nutrients is intra workout and post workout. But the thing is, if as a store owner, you have to educate these people, and you have a million other things going on, and if you can't devote 30 minutes to a guy, then it's bad, but he's not going to know the importance of an intra. But some of the stores, and I know you do it also, you talk about these things and you educate the consumers, and people are getting smarter. People are catching on. It's not the days anymore where you read something online or read something in a magazine. If anybody even reads magazines anymore.
I know. Yeah, it's hard to believe.
Right.
Yeah.
But they read something and they believe it. Now people, there's scientific data and there's backed up stuff and there's this and there's that, and they could Google something and pretty much
find the answer.
Yeah, find 10 different answers. And
that's
find
the
which
thing
one
with
works for. And find which answer works best for them. But the more educated people become, the more the injuries are going to start taking over the market.
Yeah, I could see that in the future. It's weird that it's overlooked still, But even protein, a lot of people don't even.
Well, athletes themselves, they're using them.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah,
using
the people
them.
that are really.
I don't know why it's not talked about.
Yeah.
I've always talked about it. But like I said, I think people are catching on, and it'll make its turn.
Yeah, that sounds good. I definitely think that's going to be true. So the workout today, you showed me a couple things that I wasn't used to. That high pull that we did with the
for rear delts.
Yeah, I mean the way you grabbed that and sat back in the seat.
Yeah.
Pretty much you were showing me ways to make it harder and less destructive on the joints too.
Right. Okay. So. Anybody that puts the time in that we've put into the gym, there's going to be aches and pains, there's going to be injuries. So to have any type of longevity, doing what we do is we have to try to train as smart as possible. And what I mean by that is, creating certain angles in the movement which put the emphasis on the working muscle as opposed to
the joint.
Putting on your core, or your joints, or your hips, or your lower back, or your neck. So certain angles like that make a huge difference. But something I believe in that I see thrown in all different types of direction is improper form. It's not necessarily just about lifting weights. Anybody can lift weights,
and that's what a lot of people start doing.
Yes,
in the beginning.
But what you want to do is you want to train the muscle.
Yeah.
It's completely different from lifting weights. You want to take whatever weight you're having in your hand at that time and put full focus on the muscle group that you're trying to break down, and put all that emphasis on that. You don't want to use any momentum. You don't want to do any bouncing movements. You want to incorporate like a full slow contraction and squeezing all the way through to the top of the motion, trying to break those cells down as much as possible. And you'd be surprised that you don't need a lot of heavy weight to do that.
I noticed that.
And if you start incorporating some pre-exhaustion, like some isolation movements, first and forehand, before you do the heavier compound movements, it'll really save some wear and tear on your joints and your ligaments.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Maud's always told me, because he's been through that. He trained for all those years, and now that's how he trains.
He's a pioneer.
Yeah, and it helps. When he tells me that, it makes me kind of realize, because I remember watching him lift those heavy, crazy weights and killing himself. Yeah. But I mean, you learn through time. I mean, you've been doing this for how many years? I've been doing it for
too many years.
Yeah,
a long time. Well, I'm 47 now, so
started young.
I started around 16, 17 years old. Yeah. So it's a lot of years.
It's a lot of pounding on the joints.
And you see it, like the without mentioning any names, with some of the past Olympia champions and Olympia competitors. They're having difficulties.
Yeah, it's sad to see that.
And you saw their training philosophies back then, and it was heavy and
all out.
All that. Not that their form was horrible, but it
a little reckless.
It was a lot reckless,
with that kind of weight.
With that kind of weight, and you want to avoid that, and you can put on muscle without having to abuse your body. You just got to find the right formula that works best for you.
Yeah. Yeah, and even like the ab training, some of the little movements you did, I mean, it was just unique from what I've done. Yeah. But I mean, you could really feel it.
Yeah, it's like, little tweaks and little variations here and there make a huge difference, put a little bit of different emphasis on the working muscle cells, and that's when you could really bring in those slow and fast twitch fibers at the same time and incorporate full body training where you're breaking those cells down, and it's best for growth. It's definitely best for growth.
How about training-wise, training philosophy, just, as far as intensity? A lot of guys don't train intensely. Now, we're not talking about not training intense. You can still train intense and not hurt your joints.
Oh yeah,
using drop sets.
We train intense today.
Yeah.
I mean,
different techniques.
Different techniques, and we did a couple drop sets and stuff like that. But beyond, you don't need heavy weight. Just because you're doing a powerlifting movement, it doesn't mean that you're training with full intensity.
Yeah.
Full intensity means from rep 1 to rep 12. Yeah. All out,
and
constant
contracting
tension,
the muscle.
Contracting. There's two parts of a movement that are crucial, and that's the stretch and the contraction. Everything in between, you're basically squeezing and breaking down fibers. But when you get to that contraction, that's when you're really putting full emphasis. When you're stretching the muscle, that's when you're putting full emphasis. So you really want to try to prioritize those two types of the movements.
Yeah.
I see guys they'll start doing half reps and they're losing.
Yeah. The bottom or the top.
They're losing exactly.
I've done that. I didn't realize it.
Yeah, well, you catch up, but you start realizing, I'm not getting anything out of
this. Over time, you realize it.
Yeah, so if you drop the weight a little bit and you come down, and you get a full stretch, full contraction, you will build those cells.
I had an issue doing that with legs. I was pretty strong with my legs, but at the top part of the movement, I wouldn't get that full squeeze.
Contraction.
Yeah, and you don't feel that contraction. It's not the same.
No.
And they wouldn't look the same like if I'd hit a pose with my legs,
No, and it brings a totally different supply of blood to the cells.
It makes it a lot harder, too.
It makes it a lot harder, and the more blood you can incorporate to an area, the more those cells stretch out, the more volume they can consume. The fascia, the surrounding tissue around the muscle cells stretches out, and it helps you build that muscle.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, it was a great experience.
Thank you. Yeah,
I had fun. On the flip side, we're talking about not using the heavy weights. It's not necessary, but still want to train. Like I said, you want to train intense where you're pushing yourself. Where a lot of guys now, like you see them training, and they're not. They're just going through.
Well, look, there's a big misconception on training with heavy weights. So just because somebody has 405 on a bench press, and they could do it for 2 reps, doesn't mean they're doing a good movement. 275 is still a lot of friggin' weight. 315 is still a lot of weight.
Exactly.
And if you could do that with that stretch and that contraction
and
controlling, no momentum, no bouncing, no swinging, that's what's going to make the difference between somebody who's looking to be an intermediate level kind of competitor or somebody who's going to be an elite competitor.
Yeah. And you see that with powerlifters. These guys lift crazy weights, but they don't have the biggest muscles, and that's why.
It's no different. You take college football into the pros. You have these college athletes that they're used to a certain style of competition. To adapt and go into the pro leagues, you have to make modifications, and you have to learn how to take in what's coming on and excel. And there's a lot of guys that don't make that transition, and they fall short, and they get lost in the shuffle, as opposed to other guys that, they see that different level, and they focus, and they zone in, and they accelerate.
Do everything they got to do.
They do everything, exactly.
Yeah. And so that mentality, even with training and bodybuilding, you competed in the Olympia and everything, you take that and put it into business.
Yes.
You mentioned about coaching your daughter's soccer.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Everything you do, you want to do the best you can.
My oldest daughter, she's in travel, and my youngest daughter, she's in 2nd grade. I coach the 2nd and 3rd graders. This is my 4th season coaching.
Yeah.
I love those asshole fathers on the sideline that are always yelling. That's me. That's me. I'm the asshole father.
Is that you?
but now I'm the coach.
Yeah. But you're trying to make them better.
Well, look, my wife was a soccer scholar. She's a 3-time state champion. She had a full ride to 2 different colleges to play soccer.
Wow. She competitive too?
No, and thank God. I don't want to marry a competitor.
She turned you down like?
No, we met in the gym. We actually met in the gym, and she was reserved, and she, guys would hit on her, and I would see it, and the 2 guys I was training with at the time tried hitting on her, and they came back. I'm like, what happened? He's like, she told me she wasn't interested, and she doesn't date guys from the gym. I'm like, really? Yeah. I said, okay. So her and I started talking, and then we started dating, and then the rest is history.
Yeah.
But she was a soccer competitor, and my oldest daughter's in travel. So what I do now is, we have practice once or twice a week. We have our games on the weekend. So my wife comes, and my oldest daughter, she's my trainer for the team, my 11-year-old. Yeah. So she teaches all the girls in rec,
technique and...
the proper training and technique and the basic fundamentals of the game. And, I do the coaching and the drilling and setting up the offenses and the defenses. And my wife helps incorporate some of the movements. And, we're going to teach them to slide tackle and stuff like that. But... it's fun. I love competing. Like I was telling you before, I've been competing since I was, 2nd grade. I was a gymnast, and I started wrestling in 3rd grade, and that went on for years. And
your whole life.
Yeah, football for 11 years, and got into bodybuilding and competing at that level, and not having something to compete in. You feel like, when you're an athlete, you feel like there's something lost.
Yeah.
And
you're used to that.
Yeah, so now with the company, and now I'm just trying to make the best products, and I'm trying to help guys that are trying to get to a certain level, and these are all the products that I take or I would take, or not necessarily products I took in my time because we didn't have them.
Yeah.
But this is the evolution
what you would
of stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like before you had a flip, my time we had a flip phone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy somebody a flip phone now.
Yeah.
I'd give them a Samsung or an iPhone or whatever,
Exactly.
So now I have at my disposal, some top raw ingredients and some good components that I wish I had in my time.
Absolutely.
But I put together the formulas with the same principles in mind. But yeah, I can incorporate that kind of mentality, that competitive edge, to the business, and I still have it. So I just want to be one of the top companies out there, just being known for making products that work and products that have integrity.
Yep. You stand behind them, like you said.
I use them. I use all of them. All my athletes. All my my wife uses them.
Yep.
My daughter is straight to rehab during soccer games.
For recovery.
They like the aminos.
Yeah, it tastes good. It's like a cool.
I won't give them the Rogue. We're not gonna give them the Rogue.
Not yet.
But my wife uses the pump product.
Yeah.
She used the T2. She used the aminos.
Yeah.
She'll use the rehab now. She's one of those carb freaks. It's. You could put everything in black and white, and she's still not going to have. It doesn't. But yeah, I mean, these are products that are designed for a purpose. As opposed to, you see a bunch of stuff with some patented ingredients thrown on the label, and efficacious doses of this, and this. And who cares? When I've experimented making my products, I did my beta sampling, and I took months to put these formulas together. I didn't really notice much of a difference between 4 grams of citrulline and 8 grams of citrulline. There's only so much citrulline your body's going to absorb. And the reality of it is there's, especially, I'll take a pump product, my Forage, which you use. I know you like it.
Yeah, we did.
The guys today love it. Excuse me.
Tastes great.
There's 7 different pump components in it. The thing is, people are going to respond best to what they have a deficiency in. So if you're not eating a lot of carbohydrates, you're going to respond really well to the Hydromax or the glycerol, because it's a sugar alcohol and that gets pulled into the muscle cells. Therefore, it's expanding your cells, giving that glycogen, helping some roundness and fullness, and giving you that pump. If your body is bad with nitrous oxide, the citrulline and the agmatine sulfate, those NO products will really help people that are doing, that are deficient in that. People that don't have good blood flow, I have the pine bark extract in that because it expands your red blood cells. I have the amintoflavone, which enhances the calcium levels in your muscle cells and makes them contract stronger, which pulls more blood in. So the 7 different components, something's going to catch on with you, because I'm sure you're deficient in one thing. If you don't take in enough sodium, the sodium pump you get from the sodium and the potassium that's in my pre-workout. What people don't realize is the amino acids that are in there. I have taurine, 2 grams, 1,500 mgs of agmatine sulfate, and 4 grams of citrulline. So you have 3 different amino acids. Protein amino acids, when they break down your body, they get converted to nitrogen. Nitrogen, in order for it to be utilized, it has to bond with sodium. So that mix creates a sodium nitrate,
which is important,
which gets pulled right into the muscle cells and absorbs all that water in. Now, carbohydrates, they hold 4 times their amount of weight, molecular weight. So if you're taking a gram of carbs, you'll hold 4 grams of water. So I have 2 grams of glycerol in that, so you could hold up to 8 grams per per serving. But the sodium, the potassium with the extra aminos, that's what really makes a huge difference.
And so, and if you're well hydrated, I'm sure that's going to just make it even better.
Yeah, a perfect example is people who have B12 deficiencies. You can go to the doctor and get a B12 shot,
and you feel
great. You feel like you have energy. You feel like, oh wow, you have purpose. If you don't have a deficiency and you take a B12 shot,
ain't gonna do it.
Doesn't do anything. So a lot of the supplements that are out there, they work. That's why everything kind of works. There's nothing that's the best. There's nothing that's better. Everybody's different. So whatever you're lacking, if you have a low test level and then you take the natural test booster or
you might get some benefits.
You're going to get some benefits from it. If you have a high test level and it's not really going to do much unless you're using it for a PCT. People who are deficient in carbs are going to respond better to carbohydrate products. People that don't eat good, that don't have clean diets, they will respond better to the isolates and the branch chains and the essential amino acids because it's just a pure form.
And they need it.
And one thing I noticed also is, the cleaner you are on your diet, the less crap you have running through your bloodstream, the better absorption rate you're going to get from any type of supplement you're pulling in.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and even
you feel better too.
You feel better, and even in the intro workout, I'm using that pterostilbene, which is an antioxidant. It acts as an insulin mimicker. I mean, that actually shuttles all those nutrients to your cells while you're training. I mean, you could feel that. You know, you really notice it when you don't do it.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, wow, there's something missing.
Yeah.
You know, you don't catch on because you feel good, you're training, your endorphins are going, you know, your adrenaline's going, and everything feels great. But when you're missing that, you start to feel it.
Yeah.
Like with my aminos, they're a high-dose leucine-based amino acid product.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you don't really feel recovery,
yeah.
but when you stop taking, like, shit, I'm not recovering as good.
Oh, you'll know for sure.
You'll notice it.
Especially if you're training on it.
Yeah, so with different supplements, you know, it all depends on what you're lacking or what you need. But with my pump component, there's 7 different. My pump product, there's 7 different components in there, and I'm sure more than half of them.
Hit it.
Yeah, more than half of them are going to. I mean, definitely the mentoflavone, definitely the pine bark, which are 2 ingredients that are overlooked.
Yeah.
And the sodium and potassium with the nitrate base, and you know, it's just a different mix.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone has a purpose and they're synergistic. So.
Yeah, they work well synergistically together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Everything you've done, you know, product-wise, has a purpose. You know, it's like you said.
That's why I designed it.
And you stand behind your products and you truly use them. And there's a lot of guys that make these products. They don't take any of their stuff.
So I have a sleep product.
Yeah.
Dream Chaser. My labels got messed up, so I'm waiting for the new labels to come in. I should have it within a week. I'll give you samples.
Yeah.
But you know, back in my time, you know, GHB was prominent.
Yeah.
You know,
you could buy it in GNC.
They sell a GNC and vitamin shop.
Yeah.
And now I used this for a long period of time because it was actually beneficial. Before, it's always these young kids that you know, want to party and take things to a level that they really shouldn't go to. But it served a purpose. You know, the product was made for people who have sleep deficiencies.
Yes.
You know, I'm up early in the morning. At that time in my career, I was working at night. You know, so I didn't get much sleep, so it was important for me to recover, you know, as much as possible. So I would take GHB at night. I'd sleep 5 or 6 hours. You feel like you slept 10. You wake up and you're ready to go. So with my sleep product, I tried to create like a similar kind of scenario to that feeling. So there's a high dose of kava kava in there, which is derived from fruit. And these guys in these islands, they used to eat it, and they'd, after a couple slices, they start feeling a little tipsy. They start feeling like I had a drink or two.
Yeah, like a relaxed feeling.
Yeah, so it gives you a nice euphoric feeling. Then I have all the anti-anxiety components, but then I have my heavy dose of GABA. Yeah.
I
have 2,500 mgs of GABA, I have 500 mgs of L-Dopa, 1,200 mgs of lysine, 1,200 mgs of arginine. These are your natural GH-IGF releasers.
Yeah.
So this puts you into that
boost
deep
serotonin too,
boost
right?
serotonin. It helps the neurotransmitters. It actually lowers brain activity. So guys that think all day and they wake up in the middle of the night thinking of shit, like this will lower that brain activity, so your brain actually heals and rests overnight. So when you wake up after 6 hours, like you feel like, damn, I had a good night's sleep. So no hangover, no grogginess. You know.
That's something that's important.
Yeah, I got some good adrenal support in there also. Some testosterone support, anti-cortisone, anti-cortisol.
Yeah.
So it's a solid product. I can't wait for.
I can't wait to try it, man. It sounds great. Yeah, it's important, and that's also for Alzheimer's. They say, you know, if you don't get enough sleep and it's not good sleep, that you can eventually, you know, it's more likely to develop that.
Well, now the nootropics, exactly. Now the nootropics are taking a big turn because there are scientific studies that back this, that say, you know, these vitamins that your brain starts becoming deficient in.
It's like fuel for your brain.
Yeah, it's fuel for your brain. And, you know, look, it's like if we live long enough, we're all going to get heart disease. You know, if we live long enough, we're all going to have problems with our prostate.
Yeah, something.
It's just we're not meant to last forever.
Exactly.
You know, and brain activity is no different. You know, so if you can incorporate some brain vitamins and some you know, mental stability, you know, philosophy into taking supplements. Much more longevity, you know, try to fight the Alzheimer's thing and reduce the risk for dementia.
Yeah.
But also, we're in an era and we got to stay sharp. You know, we got to stay sharp and you got to be quick.
There's so much, you know, just getting by. I mean, you got to be on top of your game, you know.
Yeah, it's no joke.
I got 100 to-do lists, you know.
Yeah.
Keeps me focused.
There's a lot of competition out there, and if you want to be any different and make a mark, and you gotta be quick.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Well, hey, it was great having you today.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you coming down.
Thank
Seriously,
you.
It means a lot.
Anytime, and we'll do it again.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.